What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Telcoin today. It is the 16th day of November, and here we are at about 0.006687 on the KuCoin chart, 0.00671 on the Bybit chart. We're going to use the KuCoin chart just because I feel like there's less wicks on the KuCoin chart, and I think there's more volume. Let's just see which one has more volume this week. 3.99 billion on KuCoin and 1.9 billion on Bybit. So KuCoin does have more volume. I think this price action might be more reliable. Plus, I think KuCoin has the longer chart as well. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. I forgot if I said that or not, but let's get into this. Okay, the daily time frame. Over the past couple of days, we've talked about the price coming down. We actually did yesterday say we could go higher. We could go higher than this high and still come down. So the fact that we're up here, if anybody's celebrating, thinking that we're rallying, I wouldn't celebrate yet, right? We're moving up, but we don't have too much volume. You know, we look at this, there's a reason why we're using the KuCoin chart. If we're looking at this, there's not really any volume coming here. And typically when you move up like this, you're at a double top area and there's no volume. And when you should be breaking out, you should be getting volume. Makes me think that you're going to revert back to the downside. And then you're set up with this kind of double top M shape, which is notorious for taking out this low here, the midpoint, right? We would likely take out that midpoint. I want to be very clear. We do not have to go below this low. Finding resistance here does not mean that we have to go below this low, but statistically speaking, it has that setup, right? We could find a higher low and then move up from here. I've been theorizing for the past couple of days that we would go just below this level, just below it, find support and then move up higher. But maybe with what we've done here, maybe we can find a higher low and then continue to rally. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe we are forming a ascending triangle of sorts or something like that. I don't know. Where we get, whoops, that was not the best draw, was it? Where we get higher lows and we get closer and closer to this breaking point, and then sometime next week we'll break out. Let's look at the short-term indicators. We'll look at the 1 hour time frame and zoom out from there. I'm very confident that we don't pump from here. And if I'm wrong, cool, that's fine. I can be wrong. I've been wrong before. What it would take for me to be wrong, what it would take for me to admit that I'm wrong is close a day, just a day, close one day. In fact, maybe even a 4 hour time frame. If you can close 2 4 hour time frames in a row, or more preferably a day, above 007, then I'm wrong. Close above 0.007 and I'm wrong. Until then, any price even above there doesn't matter, right? We can wick above this level and still come back lower, right? If we close above there, then I'm wrong. Until then, I maintain the stance that we likely do return back down to 0.048, 0.005, somewhere around there, or at the very least a higher low from what we've done recently, okay? Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. Again, no volume here. You should be breaking out. Now, what I will say is this, right? From this point here, with that lack of volume, I would have thought that you'd move down. From this point here, with the lack of volume that we had for the breakout, I would have thought that you'd move down. The fact that we're still hanging out here over the 1 hour, that actually does make me a little bit curious to see if we do break out to the upside. Typically in this situation, I'd very confidently expect that we move down, but you've been grinding this out. You've had every opportunity to move down, and you just haven't taken it. That is interesting. 1 hour RSI, it is bullish overall. It is very bullish, but double top, I think that you come down. Stochastics rejecting the overbought zone, I think that you come down. And the MACD's bullish overall, but it's like here you crossed, you tried to provide that it was a false cross and crossed back up and you rejected. I think we are seeing signs that you do want to come down. It's a bit odd, and I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. This is definitely a setup where that could be setting me up for failure here, but I do think that we go lower. Now again, do we go below this low is the question, right? We could hold this low as support, and if we do, low to high here, maybe we find support at 0.06, 0.055, 0.005 itself. You know, if we break below 0.005, we likely do go lower, back down to 0.043, 0.038, somewhere down there. You guys know that I'm a fan of the idea of going down and backtesting this prior resistance point for support. That's my thoughts. That will probably go around there. Something below 0.048 is what I'm expecting, but there is a scenario where we do find a higher low from here, and we do, again, you know, we just consolidate and we break out at a later date. Looking at our 4 hour time frame, zooming out a little bit, We do have some bearish divergence. No, we don't. No, we don't. Never mind. I'm sorry. No bearish divergence on the RSI, but we are finding a little turbulence here at the overbought zone. Stochastics are finding a little turbulence there, and the MACD technically does have bearish divergence technically, but I wouldn't weigh too much on that. I just feel like you're in this weird position where if you were going to move higher, you would have done it already. But also if you were going to reject from here, you would have done it already. So you're being weird. If I could be wrong about any call today, it would probably be this one, right? It would probably be this one. Maybe we move up to the upside, but I am thinking here you've got a double top. I am thinking, not a lot of volume. We probably pull back. So the thought then is from a low here to a high here that we would pull back to something of 0047 price or lower. It's very common to hit the 382 and bounce right off of it, but the fact that we've had a couple of lows already at that area makes me think we could wick a little bit lower, and it's very common to actually wick just below the 382 as well. Wicking just below the 382, again, if we look at the 1 hour time frame here, just below it, we've got these prior areas of resistance here. Maybe we go right to 0046, right down to 0042 itself, something in that area, but that's what I would expect for support. We're at 0066 right now. So something below 0046, or I should say 0047. That's my expectation. Once we do that, then we can talk about moving higher and breaking out. But until then, I'm not really convinced that we are. If I'm wrong, and I could be wrong, I've been wrong before, I will be wrong again. Then we should just be pushing higher right now. We should be then looking forward to targets that are anywhere from about, I would think, 0.009 to about 1.06 cents. $0.09 to $0.0106, somewhere up there, which would equate to, from the current price, anything from a 40% to a 60% pump. Not that that can't happen, I just don't see it happening, and if we do make that move, I highly doubt that we keep pushing on past there. We would likely find resistance here, pull back even to these exact same areas for support. It's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Flexible, forgiving. There's a lot of forgiveness here because let's say you're like me and you think Telcoin's going to go down. Well, if you're wrong, likely pulls back to this price for support, and then we move up again. So you'll have that chance to buy, albeit slightly higher prices, but still or around this area nonetheless. Nothing too crazy before it goes off to its highs. We could buy here, and you're still going to see a 100x by the end of the cycle. You know what I mean? So let alone if it comes up here and then comes back down. If you're patient, you'll still be able to get in roughly at this exact same price. But if you're patient and it works out, we should be going down, I think, again, below 0.005, below 0.047 even. Something right there. I think 0.046 is exactly where we're going to go, you guys, for support, and then move up, then make this move up here. Okay. Daily time frame, RSI is showing bearish divergence. Lack in volume makes me think we come down. Bearish divergence on the stochastics, and the MACD is looking to cross above the 0, but maybe you find a little bit of turbulence here. It's kind of a lagging indicator. You could pull back on the price, the MACD chills, and then by the time you're ready to rally again, the price has already cooled off. Weekly time frame, looking at this, zooming out a little bit more here, very much expecting that Telcoin has higher prices to go. Okay. I mean, we look at this chart, and it just seems as though this week is an obvious sign that we're in the process of a move like this, a move like this, a move like this move, right? Each time progressively getting bigger. This move should be then, I would expect, larger than our last move was. Okay, our last move from a low to a high, and we're not getting the absolute low and the absolute high. I'm just taking really the essence of this move. This last move was a little bit bigger. This should take us above 1.6 cents. If we're getting above 1.6 cents, we're going to see a bigger move than this, right? We're getting above this high. Then comes the extensions. We take this high, we put it at this low. My expectation is that Telcoin, by the end of November, if not sometime in early December, will be worth about 2 cents to 3.5 cents. End of year, closer to 3.5 cents or higher. And then going into January, we could be somewhere around 10 cents or more as well. I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said everything I need to say. Just wanted to get on here and say that even though we are at these relative highs, I'm not bearish on Telcoin. I'm very bullish on it. I just wouldn't buy here. I wouldn't advocate for a buy here. And again, it's very forgiving. It's very malleable, flexible. Because even if we move up from here, you'll probably pull back and find support at this exact area. Maybe, again, just a little higher, but at that point, you'd be buying at a higher price, but buying the dip instead of buying the rip. You know what I mean? It's better practice. And then if you're right, which if I'm right, I should say, we should even see lower targets than what we saw yesterday and the day before. Better opportunity. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you all for being here. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.